Hello, girls. Good afternoon. Yes, once again, you're back with me, and today we're not gonna start any new lesson. We'll continue with the second poem, that is the Colt Within, because yesterday I've explained to you on the first and the second stanza. So, this poem has 8 stanzas, and since we have completed yesterday 2 stanzas, we have 6 stanzas left. So, today I'm going to complete with you 5 stanza, that is from 3rd to 7th, because it's pretty short. Okay, so let us go straight. Now let us look at the 3rd stanza. He, the next man, looking crossed away, saw one knot of his church, and could not bring himself to give the fire his stick of birch. Okay, so here the next man, when crossed away, means when he looked around to the other side from where he was sitting, he saw that there's one person among the group that did not belong from the same church. He saw one not of his church, which means the other companion of him, he doesn't belong from the same church or same religion. Okay, so what he did, the moment he saw that, he held back his stick of birch wood. Okay, here you see his stick of birch. Birch is not doesn't mean any other, but it's a birch. Okay, it's a kind of wood. It's a name of a wood. Birch wood, birch tree. Okay, like mango tree, coconut tree. So this is a birch tree. Okay, so he didn't want to give his stick of birch or of wood. He held it back to himself. So from this line we can see the metonymy. Okay, metonymy is one of the poetic devices, like I've also explained to you in the first poem. Okay, so maybe some of you might have forgotten what's the meaning of the word metonymy. So metonymy is a substitution of a thing or idea, okay, that is closely associated with another word, right? See now, for example, here church, okay, belong to his church. This is a metonymy. Actually they should have just used it religion, right? But here the poet used church, so that's a metonymy. Church is simply means religion. Okay, so here I've explained to you the about the metonymy. So here it really in the other way I can say it represents the fate, okay, the religious fate of another person. So when the man saw that there is another person whom not of his own religious, what he did? He hold the stick back to himself. So here it shows that the man he's really a religious bigot, which is a very selfish person. And it is very plain and simple that we could see that even this man, he discriminate another of his friend just because he belongs from the other religion. Okay, so that's the explanation of the 3rd stanza. So again we'll see in this 3rd stanza, you see the rhyming. You remember I taught you about the rhyming words and the rhyming scheme, right? So you know about the rhyme scheme already. So here the rhyming words are, here the word church rhymes the same with birch. So in case if I ask you a question, what does it mean, or what is the rhyme words or the rhyme words that you can find in the 3rd stanza, then you can write church and birch. Okay, so okay, now let's go to the 4th stanza. The 3rd one sat in tattered clothes. He gave him a coat, a hitch. Why should his lock be put to use? To form or to warm the idle rich. So here you see what happened. The 3rd person, here he was, you see what there I highlighted with the yellow color in the word tarted. Let us see what does it mean by the word tarted. So tarted means torn and worn out. Okay, so usually like the beggars and very poor people, they usually wear torn clothes, right? Torn dirty clothes. So here this very poor man, he was wearing the torn and tattered clothes because he was so poor. Okay, so he pulled his coat here doesn't mean the coat that those suits or those coats that you used to see, but here it simply means the dress that he's wearing. Okay, so the poor man, what he did, he pulled his clothes closer to himself very tightly because he wanted to make himself warm. And at the same time, why he did that? Because he saw that there's another of his friend who's sitting in the group around the dying fire. That friend, he's a very rich person. Okay, so he's a rich man. That's the reason this poor person, okay, which is the third person in the poem, what he did, the moment he saw that another companion of his, he belongs from a rich family, he's a rich person, so he was thinking, why should I put my stick just to warm the lazy rich person? Here idle means lazy. Okay, so here you see the third person, what he did, the moment he saw that his companion, one of his companion among the group, who's a rich person, what he did, he hold his stick back to him. He hold his coat or his cloak tight. He wanted to warm himself, and at the same time, what's going on in his mind? He was thinking that why should I keep my log in the fire? Why should I keep the rich person to be warm? See why he's using the word idle here? Because from his point of view, from the point of view of the poor man, he believed that the rich person are very, very lazy. The rich people, they're very lazy. They won't do nothing, but they'll just underestimate or they'll just look down at the poor people. That's why he used the word here, idle rich. Okay, so now let us go at the fifth stanza. The rich man just sat back and thought of the wealth he had in store and how to keep what he had earned from the lazy, shiftless poor. Okay, so here the rich man, he's a fourth person in the poem. Okay, so this rich man, what he did, he was also thinking at that time of all the wealth that he had served, he had saved them, and he wanted to keep away all the wealth that he has from the poor. And here even, so you see, lazy, shiftless, poor, here even the rich man, he also think that the poor people, they are poor because they are lazy. Okay, so you see the way how they think, the poor and the rich, it's similar, right? So here, as a result of his mistrust and prejudice, he too, what he did, he hold back his firewood, which means that log. Okay, he hold back his log, which means he was not ready to put it on the fire. Now it is interesting to see here that you see both the rich and the poor, they didn't want to keep the stick of wood in the fire. Just because why? Because of the prejudice that they had. Okay, or the discrimination. So, and we could see that both of them, they are consider each other that they're lazy. So just here the rich person, he think that the poor are poor just because they're lazy. And the same thing, the poor person even thought that okay, the rich are, just because they're very rich, they're becoming idle. Okay, So this stanza, it shows is like how the prejudice develop when the people are isolated from others, and when they do not belong to the same race, racial, the same economy or religious group that they belong to. Okay, so now let us look at the sixth stanza. The black man's face bespoke revenge as the fire passed from his sight, for all he saw in his stick of wood was a chance to spite the white. So here the black man is the fifth person in the poem. So here the fifth man was a man with a dark skin. Okay? And what he was thinking? He was thinking of the revenge that he could take to the white person. Because if you remember, uh, few years, okay, few years ago, it happened that the black people, okay, the African, they were mistreating, okay, they were mistreated by the white people. Okay, there's a discrimination on the color. So that's why here, when the black man, when he saw that there's a white person who's a woman sitting at the other side of the dying fire, he was thinking, okay, of the revenge that he could take on the white person, just because of the bad things, the wrong deeds that those white people have done to them, that was years ago. So he was thinking that, maybe this is the right time for me to take the revenge. So all he saw was in his stick of wood. It's not that he could see any picture, but he felt that, okay, I shouldn't give the stick. Okay, if I give, then it will just warm the white skin person. Okay, that's what he thought. So, being the victim of racial discrimination, he has decided to give the white person a taste of medicine. When I say here a taste of medicine, means the taste of the revenge that he will be giving. So he had internalized the discriminatory logic of the system, which is captured by the internal rhyme, which is internal means inside this poem. We can find it with the rhyme words that they give in the stanza. What are the rhyming words that describe well about the revenge of the black man? That is, for all he saw in his stick of wood was a chance to spite the white. You see, spite white. Those are the internal rhyme. ITE. You see ITE in the spite and ITE in the white. Okay, so those are the internal rhyme. If I asked you, write down the internal rhyme that you can find in the sixth stanza, you can write these two. Okay, SPITE and WHITE. These are the internal rhyme, and these two words, spite and white, it shows very clearly about the hatred and the revenge that the black man wanted to take on the white woman. Now all the characters in the story use their firewood as a tool of, as a tool of retribution, to take the revenge, and end up becoming a victim of their own hatred, which is their cold heart. Okay, so now let us go to the seventh stanza. The last man of this forlorn group did not accept for gain, giving only to those who gave was how he played the game. See, what's the meaning of the word note? Here it simply means nothing. Okay, so here the last person, okay, of this group, right? You see the word forlorn means lonely. So some of you may wonder why they call it a lonely group, or why did the poet use the word forlorn or lonely group. There are so many of them, right? 6 of them were there. Why do they still feel lonely? It is very clear, very easy for us to tell. Why? Because both of them, all of them, they're not friendly to each other. All of them having that hatred, discrimination inside their hearts, which means their heart are cold. Okay, that's why the poem is entitled as Cold Within. It has lack of warm love. Okay, so here this person, the last man, he's a person who did nothing except for his gain or profit. So he believed only in giving to those who gave something back to him. Usually, we people, like being human, what we used to do, we tend to help to those who help us, right? But if they're not willing to help us, then we'll be saying, she never helped me, he never helped me, so why should I help him or her? So that's being human, but we should never do that, okay? Otherwise we'll end up being like these 6 humans. So here the last man, what he did, he believed that he has the concept that, okay, I should only give to those who gave something back to me. So this was how he played the game. Here the game doesn't mean like any kind of game, which means the concept or the way that how he think. So he too did not part, which means he did not give his stick, just like everybody else. So the selfishness of the 6th man is also a very larger problem. And everybody in this poem, they seems to be like him, because they only wanted to give only to those who gave. So here you see the other person, he don't want to give because the other companion of him belongs to the other church, and the other one don't want to give because the other person or the other companion of his or her doesn't belong from the same caste or same creed or same color. See, so it really shows, or it is clear that all of them have the the prejudice or the discrimination. Okay, so these are the explanation on the 5 stanzas, that is stanza number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I hope you've understood, and in case if you don't understand, keep on replaying the video, then you'll be able to get all the meanings. Okay, please note down the meanings that I've explained, and then the internal rhyme, okay, as well as the biotic devices. All right.